Very happy to be here in Macau with the CEO of Zenith Watches, Julian. And Julian's been a good friend for a long time.
Long time, Carson.
Very long time. Macau shop is just open. Maybe to the audience, tell us a little bit of the history about Zenith Watches, what makes it stand out in the luxury watchmaking world.
Well, Zenith is one of the very, I would say, traditional watch brand with a long heritage, because we are 158 years of history. Soon we're going to celebrate the 160th. It's very well known for chronographs because we invented the first fully automatic and integrated movement in 1969 called the El Primero, which is probably today the most well-known chronograph movement and definitely the most legendary one. But beyond the movement, there is a brand, and the brand has such an incredible identity and incredible values, with the motto "Time to reach your star," which means pushing the limits, reaching its objectives. That's a brand that never stops improving, and that's what we've been doing. Today, the idea has been to balance the traditional heritage, historical side with the, I would say, contemporary, dynamic, and turn to the future aspect of the brand, because we should never forget that the people who made the brand, whether 150 something years ago or 50 few years ago with the El Primero, they were very innovative. They were startups in their mind. That's why my mission, my job is to keep this innovative mindset in the brand today.
So with the very strong history and what you mentioned about innovation, what about innovations for Zenith in recent years that you could share us about? Tell us about.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of things, but I would say, of course, there have been developments around the chronometry, with, as you know, the 100th of a second chronograph that came in 2017. The 10th of a second was already existing, but we have been working on the new version of the El Primero, improving its accuracy, improving its power reserve, improving in a way the efficiency of the 1/10 of a second, which is high frequency. And that's really, I would say, the mainstream of Zenith innovation. But we also started to introduce new material. We also started to work on different aspects of the brand to make sure that we always turn to the future. And that's the most important aspect today of the brand. Very recently, we relaunched the Pilot collection in the contemporary way again, and we came with 2 patents linked mostly to the date and the fact that it's a sliding date, meaning that the date is changing very quickly, very smoothly. And that's a small, in a way, technical aspect, but for connoisseurs, they really appreciate that this is something new. So we try to always bring something new from a technical point of view, material point of view, design point of view, etc., etc.
What strikes me is that I find Zenith watches, especially what Julian talked about, the 100th of a second and the 1/10 of a second, these are all the human spirit in pursuit of perfection.
True.
This is a very, very important spirit in terms of high-end watchmaking. But how about heritage? I know Zenith introduced the Icon. I would say not collection, but an Icon project. It's tell us a little bit more about the Icon project.
And you're right, because Icons refers to our heritage, but it's actually very innovative in the approach. And before that, I mean, we started with the customization of the brand. We were the first brand to officialize customization with our friend George Bamford, that you know well as well. We were the first brand to do a partnership with Philips Auction House. So we try always to bring new initiatives, because innovation cannot only be from a technical perspective. It has to be also as an initiative, as an approach. And Zenith Icons is typically one of them. With Zenith Icons, we decided that some of the key watches from the 60s, from the 70s, should be brought back on stage in a new way. And when people are buying on the secondary market, when people are buying in the auction business, when you buy there, you take a certain risk because you never really know what you buy. We thought that if we offer as a brand the guarantee to buy a vintage watch, sometimes 50 years old, 60 years old, sometimes older, with all the guarantee from the brand that it's a fully genuine watch, functioning perfectly, with a certificate of authenticity, as well as a warranty, a 3 years warranty, like a new watch, we basically made people super confident to buy a vintage watch. So when clients are visiting some of our boutique, exclusive boutiques, they can see a very special box, as the one we could see there, which is referring to an écran, a special environment dedicated to these watches that sometimes, again, are 50, 60 years old. And I think it's a great way to give tribute to those watches that are today still our source of inspiration.
Very, very interestingly, for me, I think the only challenge is you don't have enough icons to go around, because right now, I believe it is a traveling rotation, right? Yeah. So you would stop in one city, then you bring it to another city.
Yeah. That's the main difficulty, because when you make a watch and it becomes a bestseller, right, you technically can increase production and you deliver more people, you satisfy more customers. But those watches, they are 50, 60 years old. So the only way for us is to buy them back, to acquire them back, to check them, to restore them, and to get them back to this Zenith Icons program. But it's a limited resources. So it's by definition very limited. We try not to have a roadshow system. We try to keep some sort of vintage collection in 4 to 5 boutiques, but it's very difficult to cope because it sells too fast.
It's a beautiful program, because if you're interested in vintage pieces and worry about authenticity and all that, this is the best news that you're going to hear, because buying it directly from Zenith, you take away all that concern, all the troublesome that you and it's already serviced.
True.
So you can have the peace of mind on something like that.
And it's also a strong message to people buying a new watch, because it gives you the guarantee that we are still on the same location for 150 years. We are using our own Zenith movement. So in a way, if you buy a watch now, you can trust us that the watch will be able to be restored forever. And this is something we really commit. We are committing to restore any watch from day one,
right,
since 1865. And also that the new watches today will be able to be maintained and restored for forever. And that's what you buy. You buy eternity when you buy a watch brand like that.
Yeah. Now, luxury industry, watch industry has faced various challenges in previous years. Yeah. But to me, I find most interesting is that the generation is moving on, right? The older people are very, very accepting in high-end mechanical watches. But how about the younger group? How does, when we talk about the story of how a racing driver used to wear a chronograph, a scuba diver used to wear a diving watch, a pilot used to wear this watch to fly, it's a history story.
Yeah.
Young generation, how does Zenith connect with the young generation? How do you create legacy for the 17-year-old, for the 20-year-old?
Yeah. I think it's not, we have to realize that mechanical watches are not anymore a useful tool, a useful object that you wear to give you time. And today people are still buying a lot of art. People are still buying incredible bottles of wine. People are still buying all these objects that are, between you and me, useless, but giving you emotion.
Yeah.
And in today's world that goes so fast, that everything is so obsolete, we try to have our kids focus on one movie today is difficult because they have 3 screens in front of us, in front of them, and everything is going very fast. So the idea is really to get them on board with a brand that's offering something that's fully timeless. And I trust young people more and more that they will continue to appreciate beautiful watches. Because they know the savoir-faire, the know-how, how many hours of how many watchmakers have been dedicated to the making of those watches. And I think this is something people value more and more because it's authenticity. In today's world, so many things are fake, from fake news to fake object. This is very authentic, and I think it's important. What you need to do to keep the interest of younger generation is to use the right channels, to talk them with the right words.
Yes.
And maybe we talk together, but we should talk differently when we address younger people.
Sure.
And that's something I felt with my kids. But when you get them into it, they still value authenticity.
Sure.
And I'm very confident for the years to come that, you know, we see people today, young people, more and more wearing two watches. One to tell them how many steps they did in the day, how many times they went to toilets, and the other one to give them emotion and say who they are. And I think that's something we should not underestimate.
And you touch on a point, the know-how of high-end watchmaking. This is my responsibility, my job as WatchProfessor. I am here to spread this message to, I wouldn't say to educate, but to share the knowledge of this amazing craftsmanship with the audience. Now, last question. I think Zenith to me is always exciting because you are about heritage, but also you look back, but you also look forward. What can we expect from the future Zenith, especially in terms of partnership? Because I know you are very open to partnership. We have seen partnership with the Pantone, with different various partners. Can you share us some news about the future?
It's exactly the same, and we will continue the same way, meaning that, and you know me, I've been 25 years in industry, I've done so many dinners and things and presentation. You can be a traditional, historical heritage brand, but again, to express yourself in terms of product, but also in terms of marketing in 21st century world. That means that an event should be a fun event.
Yes.
You should not go anymore to boring dinners.
Yeah.
You should have fun. And we still can talk about serious things, but have fun. You should find different angles to express it. Cars and watches have been together for a long, long time. As you know, we did partner with Extreme E because it was, again, a different angle to have a partnership between watches and cars. We talk a lot about tennis. We are partnering with UTS, which is a new league of tennis, being much more dynamic, innovative, contemporary than the previous one.
Right.
And we try always to find the right angle to tell people that with Zenith, they get something with the healthy and serious roots, but expressed in today's world. And I think that will be even more emphasized in the coming years. And I'm thinking about a very classic watch that we will relaunch in 18 months from now. I give you a little secret.
Okay.
But it will be a classic watch with classic roots, but the launch will be in such a crazy way that nobody can expect.
Okay.
And this is Zenith. This is exactly what we expect from a brand like Zenith. You get the seriousness, but you get the fun. And that's where we go.
So you stay tuned and see
Please.
what's going to come back in 18 months, and we're going to check out if that is true. Thank you for joining. See you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.